Good morning, students. This is Teacher Peter, and thank you so much for watching this video. And today I'm gonna teach you how to create or how to make a story in Scratch. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to watch this video, okay, slowly, okay, take your time, repeat as many times as you can so that you can be able to understand. Okay, so our topic today is how to make a story in Scratch. Okay, so watch this video, and when you finish, please try this project alone so that you can see if you understand everything. Thank you. Enjoy the video.
Hi everyone, it's Zoe from the Scratch team, also known as Zinnia. Today I wanted to show you how to make a story in Scratch. It can have any characters that you want and whatever scenes you want, and you can write all the dialogue. And yeah, by the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to create any story in Scratch. Let's get started. So first, let's pick a character to be the main character of your story. You can just hover over Choose a Sprite. If you wanted to draw your character, you could click Paint. If you wanted to upload a picture of your character, you could click Upload. Or if you wanted to choose one of the characters in Scratch, you could click Choose. And you can have any character that you'd like to have. I'll pick the princess, but maybe I'll rename the character. I'll name my main character Maya. And let's also add a backdrop for the first scene of our story. You can hover over Choose a Backdrop and click Choose, and pick a background for wherever you want the story to take place. Maybe I'll pick the forest background. To start your story, let's make your character say something. You can go to the Looks category and drag out a Say block, and they will say whatever's in here. So you can write in whatever you'd like your character to say. And let's put a When Green Flag Clicked block on top, because now, every time I click the green flag, the character says hello. Now, let's say you want to add another character to your story. You can just hover over Choose a Sprite again and choose another character. Maybe I'll pick Gobo. And if you want this character to be facing your main character, you can just click on the Costumes tab and click Flip Horizontal, and that will flip it. And now you can go back to the Code tab. Now, let's make this character have a conversation with the first character. So I will drag out another Say block, and I'll have Gobo say, "Hi, Maya." And I'll put a When Green Flag Clicked block on top so that the conversation can start when the green flag is clicked. Okay, so they both talked, but I don't want them to both talk at the same time. Here's how I can make Gobo talk after Maya. I can go to the Control category and drag out a Wait block, and I'll put that above the Gobo's Say block. And Maya talks for 2 seconds, so I can make Gobo wait for 2 seconds before talking. Let's try that out. Okay, so Maya talks, and then Gobo waits and talks after Maya. There we go. And by the way, let's say Maya talked for 3 seconds, then I would just have to make Gobo wait for 3 seconds. So if you want a character to talk after another, they just have to wait for the same amount of time that the other character is talking. Let's say I want Maya to say something else after Gobo talks. I can go back to Maya and have Maya wait for 2 seconds while Gobo talks, and then maybe say, "Let's go to the city." Let's try that. There we go. So they go back and forth with one character waiting while the other one talks. So that's how you can make a conversation. Now, let's say I want to add another scene and make them go to the city. Here's how you do that. I can hover over Choose a Backdrop and click Choose. And I'll pick a background to be the city background. Maybe I'll pick this one. Now, after Maya says, "Let's go to the city," how can we switch to the city background? Well, in the Looks category, there's this block, Switch Backdrop. and we can just drag out switch backdrop to colorful city. Let's try it out. Okay, she says, let's go to the city, and they go to the city backdrop. Now, let's try and restart the project. Okay. When the project starts, we want them to start at the forest background. So to do that, we just have to drag out another switch backdrop block and put a when green flag clicked block on top. And now, when the green flag is clicked, they go to the forest, and then they go to the city. There we go. Now, let's say you want to have a new character show up when they get to a certain scene. Here's how you can do that. I will hover over choose a sprite and choose a new character. Maybe I'll pick Giga. And we want Giga to appear when the characters get to the city. To make a character appear or disappear, there are these blocks in the looks category, hide and show. The block hide will make a character disappear, and the block show will make a character appear. And in the events category, there's this helpful block, when backdrop switches to. And with this block, you can make a character do a certain thing when the backdrop switches to a certain backdrop. So we want Giga to not be there when we're at the forest scene. So when the backdrop switches to forest, we can make Giga hide. Let's try that out. Okay, there we go. And when we get to the city scene, we want Giga to show up. So when the backdrop switches to colorful city, we can make Giga show. And there you go. That's how you can have a character appear in some scenes, but not all of the scenes. And now, by using these blocks, you can have certain characters that show up in certain scenes and other characters show up in other scenes, and you can make your story be exactly how you want it to be. Now, let's say you want Giga to say something when the characters get to the city. You could use the method I showed you earlier with the wait blocks and have Giga do this. When the green flag is clicked, wait 7 seconds while Maya and Gobo talk, and then say something. But it can be kind of annoying to count all the seconds that many different characters talk for. So I'm going to show you another way of making a conversation in Scratch. So let's say method 1 is using wait blocks. Method 2 is using broadcasts. So here's how the broadcast method works. You might already know this, but in case you don't, I'll explain. A broadcast in Scratch is like an invisible message that one character sends out, and then you can make other characters do something specific when they get that message. So when Maya finishes talking here, I can have Maya broadcast message 1. She sends out the invisible signal, message 1. And then if I click on Giga, I can say, when I receive message 1, I can make Giga say something like, welcome. So let's try that out. Maya says, let's go to the city, and she broadcasts message 1. And when Giga receives it, Giga says, welcome. Now, let's say I want Gobo to say something after Giga finishes talking. I just need to create a new message by clicking here. I'll call this message 2. And then Giga can broadcast message 2 when they finish talking. And then I'll go to Gobo, and for Gobo, I'll say, when I receive message 2, say, I like this place. I don't know. That sounds like what Gobo might say when they get to the city. So let's try that out. The princess talks, sends a message, and then Giga talks, and then Giga sends a message, and Gobo talks. So that's how you can do a conversation with broadcasts. Some people prefer doing it with wait blocks. Some people prefer doing it with broadcasts. Both of them always work. Personally, if I have just 2 characters, then I think the wait blocks works pretty well, but I have a hard time keeping track of the wait times if I have 3 characters or more, so then I usually use broadcasts. So yeah, with the things I showed you in this video, you can pretty much make any story. You can switch the backdrop and have different things happen at different backdrops and different characters talk to each other. Also, the link to this project that I made today will be in the description below, so you can always remix that as a starting point. And yeah, I will see you next time. And scratch on!